Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with another product review. And today's product review is going to be on a weapons mounted light from a company called Thrunite. Now, I have reviewed one of their flashlights in the past. This one right here, the model is the BSS V4, and this was a fantastic flashlight. In fact, it is my favorite flashlight that has been sent to the channel for review, and I've gotten quite a few of them. I'm really impressed with the build quality of this one. It really surprised me from a company, honestly, I had never heard of before. Well, they sent me a weapons mounted light. I believe this one is kind of set up for a Glock or a Glock style polymer framed pistol. We're going to open it up, try it out, see how I like it. I believe this is also called the Black Scout Survival Light. I have not opened it, and we're going to open this thing on camera, see what it comes with, how it mounts, what I think about it, and as always, I will give you guys the complete terms of this review. You guys know that I'm an honest channel. I received no compensation for this review. The only thing that I received for free was this light itself. That is it. I give them no promise of a positive, negative, or neutral review. I say I will give my honest thoughts, and no matter what, I will post them on the channel. I will put a link to where you can buy this light if you are interested in the description below, but I received no kickbacks, no incentives, nothing. I get nothing from this review except this light. So you can decide if that makes me biased when it comes to this review or not. You guys can decide for yourself. All right, so let's get this thing unboxed. Let's see what it looks like and how it mounts. All right, so here's the box and packaging this particular weapons mounted light comes in. But before I open this, I just want to show you what I'm going to compare and contrast it to. This is my Surefire Scout light. I believe the model is the X300 Ultra, more specifically the X300U-A. This is an industry standard light that I'm sure Thrunite is trying to compete with. So anything I say will be in reference, in comparison to this particular light, since I know so many people are familiar with it. And also I will try to compare it to the quality of the Thrunite BSS V4, which was the flashlight that I mentioned that I have reviewed in the past and thought this was a very high quality flashlight with lots of options. So will this match up to these two products? I have no idea, but let's find out. All right, so here is the box that it comes in. It's packaged really nice. It has one of these magnetic flaps on it. I kind of like that. I think if a company is going to take time to create nice packaging for their product, they care about their product and the way that it's manufactured. So let's go ahead and open this up here. We have the light. It's wrapped up, but I know we have some other accessories and items underneath the foam. We have a USB cable. We have some extra parts. And I believe we have all of the paperwork and owner's manual and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's get that out of the way. You guys can see all the owner's manuals and paper. All right, so we got the USB cable, as I mentioned, because this unit can be charged. So let's get the light out. And here it is. It says Thrunite TW10. And on this side it says the Black Scout Survival. So just handling the light, it feels pretty darn solid. It looks like the attachment point is going to be a screw-on type of button here. The buttons to activate the light are on the side. Looks like it's on both sides. It feels hefty, seems to be good quality. The lens has the orange peel type of coating on it. Feels pretty solid. I would definitely say it compares in build quality to the Thrunite BSS V4 flashlight that I had. So I do like that. I don't think that this looks as aesthetically pleasing as the flashlight or the Surefire. Those look a little bit nicer, a little bit more tactical. This is kind of plain. It's kind of thin, but that's not a negative thing against the performance of the light, however. So that's just a personal preference there. So I guess you have the charger here in the back. Looks like it does come with some extra parts. Looks like we have an O-ring in here, an Allen wrench, an extra cover for the USB port, and there's also a little part here that says 1913. I believe the one on top of this one says GL, so this must be for a Glock rail. and this would be the insert if you're going to put this on a 1913 Picatinny rail. So since we're going to be using the Glock, I'll go ahead and keep the one that's on it. So if I'm going to install this on the Glock, I'll go ahead and take off the Surefire. I like how easy that comes off, but it doesn't look like this light is going to go on the same way. So I think we're going to unscrew this. So this would be very similar to the Surefire version of this light. I believe it's the B version that has the button. And so I'll unscrew that, and I believe that should, yeah, you can push that through, and that should probably give you enough room to install it here on the gun, and it does. So then we'll screw this down. Right here, that's pretty tight. That's just finger tight. And that is on there rock solid. I like that. That's actually better than the Surefire. So it looks nice. I do like how thin it is now. Originally I didn't like that, but it's about as thin as the gun, where on the Surefire light, you can see it has to be a lot wider because it has 2 batteries in that compartment. So this is kind of a little bit of a space saver. Let's see if I can reach that button there. Yeah, it's a little bit further, so I can see if somebody has smaller fingers or smaller hands, they might not be able to reach that button, but I can easily activate it, and with both sides. So if you're left-handed or right-handed. There we go. All right, so it's mounted nice. It feels very solid. I like that. No problems there. All right, well, let's compare this now performance-wise with the Surefire light and see how it does. All right, so I got the lights turned down here in the garage, and I'll turn them off in just a moment to compare it with the Surefire, but I wanted to give you guys some of the specs on this particular light. It has a max output of 900 lumens, which drops to 427 lumens after 195 seconds, and then at 427 lumens, it has a 130-minute runtime. It has a light beam throw of 125 meters. It is impact resistance up to 1.5 meters, and it is waterproof and water resistant to 2 meters. So that's what they're claiming is the power output and the durability of this. I'm not going to torture test it, but I will compare it to the Surefire when it comes to the power of the beam and what it looks like. All right, so let me turn off the garage light here, and let's compare it to the Surefire. All right, so I'm going to start off here and use the Surefire X300U. So here is that particular light. It really lights this place up. Really impressed with it. I like the hotspot. But of course, this is a Surefire and a very high quality and well-known weapons mounted light. So there's the beam, the quality of the light. And I know this is kind of hard to help come across on camera here because I know the internet, it's not the same as actually being here, so you kind of have to take my word on some of this. But there's the Surefire. All right, I'm going to turn this off. All right, and now here is the Thrunite, and that is definitely a lot brighter. I don't know how that's going to come across when I edit the video, but it is definitely a brighter light. So this is supposed to be 900 lumens. It does not have as much of a centered hotspot as the Surefire, but that's what I would expect with that orange peel lens. But there's a lot of spill, and the light is relatively centered in one direction, but I like the fact you don't get the kind of lines and the shadows you normally would get just from the way that the lens projects the light. I do like the way that looks. I'm quite impressed with that, but it is extremely bright compared to the Surefire. So while the Surefire is probably going to be a little bit more well-known light, this one I think is worth giving a shot if you're not looking to spend that type of Surefire money, because you know Surefires can cost a lot, and I actually think you get a lot for your money when it comes to this particular light and the beam. And right now the Thrunite is attached to the Glock, and I'm having no problem whatsoever turning it on and off. Now I do have larger hands, so possibly if you have smaller hands that might be an issue. I don't think someone with smaller hands or shorter fingers would have as much of an issue with the Surefire because those levers on the back kind of extend into the trigger area. But here, it's no problem for me, and that is a lot of light. So that is the compare and contrast of the beams with the Surefire. All right, so what are my final thoughts when it comes to the Thrunite TW10 weapons mounted light? I gotta say, I'm actually quite pleased with it. The price point of this, as of me recording, this is about $55 to $60 on Amazon. And I think for what you get, I think it's a good value. I know these Surefires can be really expensive, and sometimes we pay for the brand name, and that's why I have this particular one. I wanted it on my Glock. And I know that for some people, dropping $200, $250, or even $300 for a weapons mounted light is kind of crazy. When you're starting to get up into the price of cheaper guns for just something that's going to illuminate the room, and how often are you going to use it? So finding a high quality, affordable option that's not a Surefire, I think is appealing to a lot of people, especially if it's high quality. Well, from just handling this, looking at it, I gotta say, it's pretty high quality. So I think my star rating for this is gonna be judged based off of the price point. Now, which one would I prefer if money was not an option? Well, probably the Surefire. It's the known quantity. It is the industry standard. But this thing is 4, 5, or even 6 times as much as this particular light is here. So for what you get for $55 to $60, I think is an exceptional value. I really like the way the beam looks. I like how bright it is. I do have a couple of complaints, as I mentioned. I have no problem with these side-mounted buttons to turn on the light, but I think some people would. That'd be kind of a far reach, especially if you're a woman or have shorter fingers or smaller hands. It's not that it's undoable, it's just a little bit further of a reach, and I think the ergonomics of the Surefire are just a little bit better. I do like the fact that this is a rechargeable unit, but you have to take it off the gun to charge it. Is that going to be a major deal breaker? I don't think so. I definitely see myself using this on some of my carry guns. It's not a bad light whatsoever. A lot of power, well constructed. It's on this gun actually, I think, a little bit better than the Surefire. It does seem a little bit more sturdy on this particular polymer rail. I like it a lot. I'm very impressed. So on my star rating, how would I rate the Thrunite TW10 weapons mounted light? Well, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars out of 5. It's not a perfect review because I have those couple of little gripes. I just wish ergonomically it was a little bit easier to actuate the light. And I think from an aesthetic standpoint, it looks a little plain. I do like the Surefire. It just looks a little bit more tactical, but all of that is a qualitative thing. I can't say this is a bad light because simply it doesn't look as cool as the Surefire. It's such a qualitative thing. It's such an opinion. But it's a little plain Jane looking for me, but it definitely gets the job done. Maybe if it was in the tan color, I'd like it even more. You guys know I'm kind of a flat dark earth guy. But 4.5 stars out of 5 on this thing. I'm quite happy. It's definitely going to go into my EDC rotation on some pistols. It's not going to go on this one. This is my dedicated Surefire one, but it's definitely going to go on another pistol. Just got to figure out which one that is. It's not bad, and I can tell it's probably made for a Glock. The dimensions of this fit the Glock pistol perfectly. So there you go, the Thrunite TW10 weapons mounted light. 4.5 stars out of 5. And just so you guys remember, I was given this light for free, but I'm getting no other compensation whatsoever for this review. So did that affect my opinion? You guys can decide, but I'm always upfront and honest with you, so you guys know I'm not a quote-unquote shill. You guys know what I got and my opinion on the item. So does it affect it? You decide. So there you go. So let me know if you have any questions. Do you guys own any Thrunite products, and what do you think of this particular light? I personally like it, and for 50 bucks, I'd probably buy another. So there you go. So let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.